Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Paranormal Weekend Morning Brew Show. I hope you all can hear me and we're not still having audio problems. Midwest, if you can hear me, give me a thumbs up in the window, please. Awesome. Thank you, sir. All righty. Well, let's get this three-legged horse in the race, okay? So, copyright disclaimer, this channel may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contents use falls under the Fair Use Act, copyrighted of 1976, makes allowances for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and general knowledge only for educational purposes. So, that being said, we are claiming Nighthawk High Strangeness podcast channel and all podcasts are claiming fair use of any and all content, that's any and all content, including music, to be used for the sole purpose of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, general knowledge purposes, criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, and parody only, per Title 17, USC subsection 107 of the Copyright Fair Use Act of 1976. All righty, that being said, let me get that off of there. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just not feeling very well today, and I got a co-host with me that is struggling because he misses a certain person. I'll show you all him in a minute. I'm going to bring G on. Good morning, G. Good morning. Uh-oh. We lost G. We lost G.
I hit the wrong button. Can you hear me now?
We go. There we go. I hear you now.
All
hear
right.
you now. Let's bring Dennis on. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I feel like after last night, I've got government agents watching me here.
Yeah.
But,
I've got a certain somebody here protecting me, so I don't have to worry about it. Right? I don't have to worry about protection, do I? Huh?
There's the man. Hey, Jacob, how you doing, bud?
I got you, don't I?
Hey, Jacob.
They're saying
hey,
hi.
Jacob.
To you. They're saying hi to you.
Hey, buddy.
They're in the
He hears his name.
They're in the
He
computer.
knows his name.
Oh, yeah, he knows his name. Mom kind of went out with somebody this morning, so I'm stuck with him, and he is being a very stubborn co-host. Okay, come on, lay down, honey. Lay down. Come on, lay down. He is so anxious. He wants to watch the front door. That's the whole problem. He wants to watch the front door, and he can't see it right now because we're back in one of the rooms. So
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, he keeps trying to kiss me and give me loving, just so I'll put him down on the floor. Come on now, just lay down.
You know, that's one of the things I love so much about animals is they live in confidence. They know exactly what they're doing, and they don't need anybody to tell them any different. They live in that confidence of being just that animal. You know what I'm saying? That's an amazing thing about them.
Yep. He has separation anxiety really bad. So whenever I'm away or whenever his mom's away, either one of us, it doesn't really matter. It's more mom than me, though. Me being gone is like, the boss.
Well, you know, William, dogs don't have a concept of time. You don't see dogs wearing a wristwatch. They have no concept of time. When you leave, they think you're never coming back. They don't understand that, That's why they're looking for you. And, I have actually seen videos of people's dogs that will sit by the front door all day long waiting for them to come back from work. It's amazing. The devotion that they show for stuff like that.
Yep. Well, let's see. Let's say good morning to a few people here. We got, of course, us three in the house. We got Ashley, Cynthia. Good morning. Good morning. And who else we got in the house? We have Joey Z's in the house. Joey Z, good to see you, my brother. Then we got Raven Creek Charms. Good morning. Yeah, baby Jacob. He's definitely a baby, that's for sure. A 13-year-old baby. 13, what's that make him? 91 years old.
Oh, my.
Yeah, 91 years old. Oh, wait a minute. No, is it 91? 70.
No, maybe about 71, wasn't it? 72, something like that.
No, 7 years for every year. So 70 is 10 years. And then 3 times, 21. Yeah, he's 91 years old.
Really? Yeah. Well, that would make my dog over 100 years old because he's almost 15.
Oh, my.
Wow. If he makes it in November, he'll be 15. So he'd probably be over 100, I guess. It depends on different breeds. They count different years and different breeds, too, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's old. It's almost as old as I am. That's pretty old.
The thing of it is with dogs, I mean, whoever came up with that 7-year thing, I don't even know how that came about. So does anybody know? I'm asking everybody in the chat and you guys if you know, but good morning, Love Cat. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Tombstone. Good to see you all in the house. Okay. All right. Well, last night's show, Dennis, was really something. It just blew me away what we actually uncovered with just talking about it and trying to have all of our brains click at the same time on the same things. And it really turned out to be mind-blowing. It really did. And gee, I don't know what you thought about it, but because I know you were watching, but man, I don't know. The whole in God we trust.
I was sitting there at work listening as best I could, in between doing what I'm supposed to be doing. They don't really like paying me to stream very much. But
it was a deep dive, definitely.
I kept thinking about
interesting stuff. Yeah.
I kept thinking about the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, where he was in the program, as like a sleeper cell. They could activate him anytime, and he was uncovering all these theories on them and collecting data on them to try to expose them, but yet he was secretly in that program but didn't realize it, and everybody thought he was nuts.
Mhm.
Come on, Jacob, just stay still, honey. Yeah, he's Jacob, what do you think about it, huh? No.
That he's not going to talk about it.
No. Glitch in the Matrix. That was a
You don't
glitch
want
in
to
the
get in
Matrix
trouble.
moment. Right? You're not going to talk about it? Oh,
He said he doesn't want the G-men on his case. Okay. He's smart.
you smart. Okay. Every time I ask him a question, I get a lick. You're like a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop.
Dog kisses can be kind of messy sometimes.
You guys remember those commercials? How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Tootsie Pop? One, a two, a three.
There's a lot out there.
Good
Definitely.
Lord. He is just wound up today. He wants to go and guard the door. So stop, honey. Come on. Stop. Okay. No.
Got a one-track mind.
What do you think? Anyways, last night was really, really amazing. The whole "In God We Trust" thing, and the whole the way everything just pointed back to the darkness, the evil, the demonic type of a thing. I don't know what you guys, I mean, any topic discussions you guys want to talk about this morning is fine with me. Uh-oh, somebody's talking. And you got something to say? Huh? You got something to say? You got something to say? Tell me. Okay, stop. Anyways, boy,
well, William, whenever you get on the subject of the demonic, interesting things happen. I'm gonna use the term "interesting" rather loosely there, but it's almost as if you're kind of stirring up a hornet's nest sometimes. If anybody's ever poked a hornet's nest, you know what I'm talking about. It's not a good idea to do that sometimes, but that's what happens. But I've noticed that a lot of things like that happen, especially on and after the shows I do on Demonology Today, which is the main subject. I talk about a lot. And of course, this weekend, tomorrow night, I'm going to be talking about the AI demonic connection. And, but I have noticed, I don't know whether you have, just here recently, all the many fake videos out there that are using AI imagery. And this stuff is amazing. And, the one thing, it's a telltale thing about the AI imaging, they can't get the hands right on these images. Right. If you look at the hands of these things, they're not right. But once they get that done, it's going to be hard to tell it from the real thing. And that's what I said last night. We're living in a world now where we're questioning our own reality. We don't know what's real and what's not real anymore. I can't, I've got a lot of people come up to me with interesting videos and photographs, and I would love to put them out there for everybody, but I can't vouch for them. I can't say for sure, especially now with AI, what you're really dealing with here. And I don't want to spread misinformation. That's the one thing I don't. That's my number one rule. Do not spread misinformation. I don't want to do that, because when you misinform people, you're really lying to them. It's a form of lying, and I don't like that. I can't stand liars and lying. That just one thing I can't. It's the one thing that sticks in my craw, as they used to say in the cowboy movies. But when you spread misinformation, that's what you're doing. Rumors and misinformation, that's what you're doing. You're lying. But people are very good at lying to themselves. Look at all these people that are seeing Bigfoot and Dogman out there in the bushes, and there's not really anything there at all. Yeah, they're lying to themselves. I'm sorry, I hate to tell you that. They don't want to believe that, though. They want to believe what they want to believe. And that's the interesting psychological thing about people, Gerald and William, is that they believe what they want to believe, regardless of whether it's the truth or not.
Right.
And that's one thing that really bugs me about humanity. They can have the truth right there in front of their face, but if they don't want to believe that, they deny every bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Geryl, did I send you the videotape this morning? Or the video I saw that I found?
I don't think so. You sent me something last night, but I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
No, it would have been this morning. Dennis, you got it, didn't you?
Well, about the aliens, was that the ones you thought?
Yeah, with all the different alien species and the dignitaries from Japan.
I think a lot of that apparently was AI imagery too, by the way. I checked out a lot of image on that.
That's
the only one I saw that was very interesting to me, if you'll go back and look at it, is where the guy's actually shaking hands with that alien. That's an interesting looking one. But the other ones pretty much look kind of like AI imagery to me. But I say you can't tell anything. I can't have an opinion on it because I don't know for sure, and I don't want to mislead anybody. But it's very interesting to look at. There's nothing wrong with looking at it and talking about it. But like I say, I can't form an opinion.
Right.
I would like to.
Yeah, I agree. I don't even want. I didn't want to send it to everybody. I just wanted to send it to a couple people and see what they thought. So, but yeah, I definitely thought it was AI generated. Just like remember the picture of the giant standing next to the people,
right?
And the giant horse. Those are all AI generated pictures too. And I know somebody out there is probably trying to claim it as their authentic picture, but I say one thing: prove it. Prove it, because
there's one now making the rounds with the giants, the pictures of the giants. You've seen that one, I know, and they look like some kind of gigantic Bigfoots or trolls or something. A lot of it, that's definitely AI generated. I mean, you can tell by the very, but it's amazing how they can take that and put it in an old photograph and make it look old. A very old looking thing. But here's the thing you got to ask yourself, William, Geryl, when you see something like that. Why hasn't this come out before? If this is an ancient, a very old photograph, why hasn't it been talked about or found before? Why all of a sudden did it show up? You got to ask that question too. But here's what I'll say. Unless I know that person, if you, Geryl, or you, William, come up to me with something, and I know you, I know you're trying to be honest and everything, I could pretty well help, maybe vouch a little bit for what you come up with. It's your own photographs or your own video, you got to know the source. That's the main thing. Your source counts for everything.
Yep. You lay down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and just thinking about the way AI is going to pull off a lot of different things to make us assume something is real when it's actually not is amazing. I almost feel like Dr. Evil, from the movie.
Yeah.
Pet and Jacob. Dr. Evil. Anyways,
but in my career all these years, and this is kind of a little joke with me. I say I'm out to prove that I got nothing to prove. You could get the evidence. I mean, I could show you a picture of me and Bigfoot or Dog Man standing together, shaking hands or whatever. I could actually take a picture of that. Nobody's going to believe it anyway. Okay, you got to remember that. People going to say, "Ah, come on, that's fake," and all that. Nobody's going to believe it. Very small percentage might, but nobody's going to believe it. So why are you bashing your head up against the wall for? Why are you trying to prove things to people that most of them are not going to believe anyway? And if you've got true evidence on it, that's not what it's all about. I know, as long as I know, that's all I can do anything about. You know what I'm saying? As long as I know what I know about it, that's okay. I'm not going to go out trying to spend the rest of my life proving something to people that's not, most of the time, not going to believe you anyway. And so that's why I've told so many people over the years. I've mentored a lot of groups. It's not about the evidence, okay? They dwell too much on evidence. It's more or less about the truth.
Right.
The truth of the thing.
Exactly.
You know, that's what it's about. You know.
Exactly. But do you guys think AI is going to be able to rationalize lies from truth, or right from wrong?
Well, you know, down through history, mankind has always had its rumors and stuff like that, stories, legends, and all this stuff. And you know, everything has a grain of truth somewhere in it. You know, that's what you're looking for, that grain of truth. It's very hard to find. It's like a needle in a haystack, the proverbial needle in the haystack sometimes. I might could find it if it's a very large needle, by the way. But the whole thing is, when it comes to AI, it's helping foster these rumors, these false narratives that it's putting forth. And here's what bothers me about it all. Now I know there's some people out there that may actually, you know, believe some of this stuff, but what is the real motive behind a lot of this AI imagery going out? What are they trying to do? Like I said before, and we talked about this before, William, there is definitely a governmental agency that does nothing but issue misinformation. You know, they muddy the waters, and they're doing that on purpose. It's, you know, and it's an insidious thing that they're doing. They're destroying the concepts of truth that we have. And that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. And these rumors and this fake imagery and all this stuff is not, like I said, it's fixing us into that point. We don't even know what reality is going to be anymore. We can't say for sure what the truth is. And that's the way these dark forces want it. They want that. Do you know one of the names of Satan? Remember that? He is the author of confusion.
Mm-hmm.
When you confuse and confound people, like we talked about last night, about dividing and conquering. That's how you operate with control over things. If I could twist and warp your reality, William, I could have you exactly right where I want you. And that's what these forces, I think, are doing. And AI is the perfect tool for that. Think about it. Yeah. The holograms and the AI, the mask that we talked about, all these different things are the perfect tools that they're looking for to do these things that they want to do. And we got to be very careful about it. We got to be very vigilant in what we're doing with these things, because we're, like I say, we're in muddy waters. We don't know where we're walking, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Why are you? What are you all freaked out about, huh? Oh, you hear a dog barking? Here's another dog barking.
Yeah. That's a form of communication with them, I think. What you want, you know? My dog listens to them all the time. You hear them next door barking, you know? I wonder if they're sending secret messages to each other. Maybe the dog may want to rise up one day and take over. You never know.
Yeah. You would think he's being neglected the way he's acting right now, but you know, trust me, he's not being neglected at all. He's getting all the loving he can handle.
Do you
But
guys remember a TV program in Erie, Indiana? Do you remember that TV program? Erie, you
yeah.
remember that? I loved Erie, Indiana. That was very good. But there was one episode where they actually was able to hear the dogs thinking. Remember that?
Oh
And they
yeah.
found out the dogs were plotting to take over the world. That was a good one. That was a great show, by the way. They tried to remake it, but it never hit the original one. I like the little guy that always had the key around his neck, and his cat, all his evidence locked up in the cabinet, you know.
All right.
Neat.
Okay. Calm down. Calm
Mhm.
down. That's enough. You're disturbing the show now. Come on. Anyways, yeah, getting back to the whole AI thing. Do you think they'd be able to spirits or ghosts?
Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead, Geryl. I'll let you.
So what were you asking, William? What do you think there'll be
If
spirits or ghosts?
if you think that they have the capability of making it seem like people are seeing things that they're not supposed to see, um, almost like holographic imaging. I mean, if AI gets into holographic imaging, then it's all over with. I mean, it's completely over with for mankind because they will image anything to turn us against each other. So yeah, it would be literally just the end of everything as we know it. So
Yeah, I mean, like Dennis was talking about, I mean, everything is becoming so subjective now that you don't know what's real and what's not. I mean, we're still able as a human rat to rationalize and think for ourselves, but eventually if the AI controls everything, every aspect of our lives, I mean, once they, like you said, once they get into holographics and stuff, I mean, you're not going to be able to tell what's real and what's not. You're going to have to question your reality every day. I mean, we kind of already do right now.
yeah, exactly.
You remember the stuff in the haunted mansion at Disneyland? You know, the holographic stuff and all that they would use. It's amazing. But look, that technology I'm talking about is 20 years old. Imagine now what they could actually do with some of this stuff, especially now with AI. Here's the interesting thing about AI that really bothers me, okay? AI is conceived by the mind of what? Man. Man is infallible and perfect. Man is corrupt, inherently corrupt in so many ways, spiritually now I'm talking about. That's going to show up in AI, okay? It's a mirror image of humans. That's what AI is, and we got to understand that. And that's what makes it so downright dangerous and dark, because that's the mirror image. And no matter what we do, like that story you used to tell, William, about the two wolves, you know, the good and the bad wolf, the white and the black wolf. We've got all of it. All of us have got that. That's going to show up in AI, you know? It's definitely going to. And like I'm going to talk about on my show tomorrow night, I feel without a doubt AI is already demonically infected. Because I'm going to tell you this, and I've had a lot of cases of people with these video games and stuff, you know, like Assassin's Creed and all that stuff. All these video games are already demonically infected. A lot of them.
Right.
Okay. It's already there. You know, whatever we do, there's that chance of it going bad. That's the way it goes.
Yeah. Raven Creek Charms has
about the chat rooms. I'm finding a lot of darkness showing in people who openly vow their loyalty to Satan. That's what we said last night on the show. The battle lines are being drawn. They're coming out in the open now because they know they have the power. They have the upper hand. And that's what I've said for many, many years. I talk about this in my book, Beyond the Shadows, the section on demonology. Eventually, evil will show its true hand. You'll see its true flag, its real colors. Eventually, it shows itself. No matter how much it tries to hide, eventually it will show its own self. I think I think our creators got it set up that way, by the way, so that we'll know these things when they happen, you know. But that's what you're seeing right now. You're seeing that with your eyes, right in front of your eyes. They're no longer hiding this. They're selling clothes in Target. They're doing all these shows on TV. They're talking about selling their soul and all these other different things. It's coming out. You're just seeing the tip of the iceberg, people. You know, just hang around and watch. We're gonna really see stuff that's gonna blow our minds.
Yeah. What do you think, Geryl?
Yeah, I mean it's so weird that the like Dennis said, the division is getting really bad. I mean, between good and evil, demonic, however you want to phrase it. I mean, with this, not to really get into anything political or anything like that, but with all this woke and cancelism, it's starting to show up in the chats where you have people come out, and as soon as you mention anything about Christianity or the Bible, they automatically just get offended. I mean, you can't make a reference like we could make a reference about the giants in the Bible or whatever, not even really preaching or judging anybody, and they automatically just get offended because it's the Bible or Christianity.
Well, you know, Gerald, that's what Jesus talked about in the Bible. He said that that day is coming when they will deliver you up to be killed and think they're doing God a favor. They'll think they're on the right side. That's the way evil works. Evil gets you to fools you into believing you're on the right side when you're really on the wrong side. Um, look at the perfect example is Nazi Germany. You know, we've seen that happen in history. We don't learn the lessons of history. And like you said last night, William, a lot of history is skewered. They don't tell you the real history of things. You know, that's the way they write it. But we see history repeating itself time after time after time. And what happened in Nazi Germany? You know that old saying: they came after the gypsies, and I didn't say anything. They came after the homosexuals, I didn't say anything. They came after the Jews, and I didn't say anything. And then they came after me. There was nobody else to say anything. That's the way that works, you know? And they're going to, you wait and see. The day is coming very closely when Christianity, especially Catholics, they're the ones on the front line of this. I'm not Catholic, but I can tell there's a lot of Catholic people in this world. That's mostly way over half of the religions of the world are Catholic, okay? They're on the front lines. You're going to see them designated as domestic terrorists. You wait and see, because that's coming. And when that day comes, they will actively work against you for sure. They're working against you now, but they will actively, openly work against you then. They'll pass laws to do. Look at there right now. Here's what gets you, okay? I can go and stand outside on a public sidewalk in front of an abortion clinic and pray silently, and they will come and arrest me. Did you ever thought you would see something like that in this country? That's just the beginning, my friend. That's just the beginning.
Yeah. I remember in my younger days having to drive around hiding my Native American paraphernalia that I used for ceremony in my vehicle and keeping it under lock and key, because every time I would drive somewhere in the 70s, a cop would be like right on it, and they would pull us over, and they would literally just beat us to a pulp and take the stuff out of the car and scatter it all over the place, with very disrespectful. And I'm talking eagle feathers. I'm talking smudge shells, and and all the herbs, and our regalia. They just I never thought those days would return after the the movements of the 70s and the 60s. But unfortunately, I think those days are returning, like you said, Dennis. That the people that believe that they're in control, and I say believe they're in control, okay? They're not actually in control, okay? Because if the masses rebelled, there'd be nothing they could do. It'd be like ants swarming an anthill, you know. There'd be nothing they could do, okay? You know, and that's the whole precedence with the whole trying to keep people separated too, like you said. They're
Mhm.
separating the Catholics from the Jewish faith. They're separating, you know, the black from the white. They're separating the, you know, the certain, you know,
Well,
earthly.
what it is, William. Okay, they're using racism as a tool to accomplish the things they want to do. Here's what they're doing. They're classifying us and putting us in different races and setting us against each other. And the mindset is they're doing this. This is mind control kind of a thing, okay? To sow hatred and discord amongst people, to keep it agitated that way because they can control us better like that. And we got to understand now they're saying, okay, our society, they blame one certain race for one certain thing, okay? When really they're this that I've talked about that victim mentality before. They want everybody to be a victim so that you will hate somebody else. You will have something against somebody. It's a form of mind control. And we don't need to play into that because that's what they're up to. And that's what they're using this false flag of racism for. I want to tell you something. When we were children and we were born as children, we didn't know what racism was. We didn't pay any attention to what color or what class or whatever race somebody was. That's the way humanity is before it becomes oriented the way they want you to be oriented, before they actually do the mind control thing on you. We've got to understand we're not inherently racist. They want us that way because that's the way they can control us. We've got to understand that. And that's just one thing, racism. There are other things they use too, not just the racism, but they're doing that as a form of control over us. And the really rich elite that we talked about last night, who are the ones behind a lot of this stuff, the Illuminati, whatever name you want to give them, the cabal, the shadow government. All of this is in bed and in league with the dark forces of the demonic. And that's the way they work. I have studied this stuff for years and years of my life, and I know without a doubt, I can see it. It's so obvious to me what they're up to and who's really behind all of it that it's unmistakable if you're really honest to look at it in the right way.
Leave it to Stuart. Leave it to Stuart to say that. Oh, wow. Thank you, Stuart. I appreciate that, brother. uh,
I like the one where they mentioned like Austin Powers. You need to put lasers on his head.
yeah.
Whenever I think
Yeah.
about Stewart, I always think about Jack Clampett. Someday I got to have a long talk with that boy.
Stuart, you're in trouble. Stuart's probably gone to the principal's office quite a few times in school, but
It probably would be a better
Scott,
world. Dogs would run it a whole lot better, I think. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, it would definitely be. And here's Scott's impression of what's he's starved for affection. He's starved for.
I've often said that about dogs. They're sort of like emotional sponges. The more love you give them, the more they want. The more they soak it up. That's the way it goes.
Yep. Definitely. What role do you think AI will play in our like our podcast? What if AI took over podcasts without us knowing and changed the verbiage that we would use, typically in a conversation to make it sound more oppressive
Oh,
or
that's
demonic
coming.
or you think so?
That's coming. They could even take our images. They could put out a whole new video just of us three talking like this and do whatever they want to do with it. That's coming. Yeah. I mean, it would look real. It would fool people. They wouldn't know. They would think it was really us. You know? Um, and you know what? They could do that with. They could really destroy us that way. They could put words in our mouths and make us look like racists. They're so eager to use that term racist. They could make us look like they could destroy our reputations. They could
Right.
tear us down quickly with that.
I don't have much of a reputation to destroy.
Mine's already shot. Okay, that's another story. That's another story.
Well, right now in Japan, they have AI doing news broadcasts where it looks like a live person right there giving the nightly news, but yet it's an AI image of a real person, and they use Chat GPT to give out the English or the Japanese or however you want them to speak, and it's just like a person sitting behind a desk like we'd see in the U.S. Giving out the nightly news, but it's all AI, and every time something happens, all they have to do is just send it right to them, and they're just talking away at it just because Chat GTP is giving them the verbiage.
I saw a thing on Instagram yesterday. It was really funny. I wanted to capture it and send it to you guys, but I couldn't get it back again. But they show this a now word from the president of the United States, and he's got Joe Biden. He's got bandages all over him, and he's talking, because he just fell, he hit his head getting out of the helicopter and all that stuff. It's really funny. But that was an AI image. It looked real. It really did, It sounded like him and everything. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
It's amazing what this AI can do. But like I said earlier, that's the problem we got to watch out for. This is a great tool that they're going to use, just like they used COVID-19. It was a great tool, and there have been supposedly secret plans known that they're getting ready for another pandemic because they will really lock down everything, and it wouldn't surprise me. That really wouldn't surprise me a bit.
I don't know. I definitely see a lot of bad stuff coming, and that's what's going to be great with our conversation next Friday night at 10 o'clock on Into the Red Rabbit Hole. G, if you're available, I'd like to have you for that too, if it's possible. Because we have the one guest that was on your show recently, Marquise Williams, coming on, and we're discussing we're having like a roundtable AI discussion with the people in the chat, where anybody can ask questions and make comments and all that, and we can debate what's going to happen and discuss it in an open forum. So it's going to be really, really, a really good show.
We need to, William. We need to do one show with nothing but we'll call it open mic. Let people just come on and ask us questions and everything. Those are always good shows. I like to do those once in a while. We need to do one. Just have people bouncing questions off of us for the whole show. That gets a lot of stuff out there too.
Well, if we had a centralized phone number for people to call in, we could do that all the time. We could have people call in. But that costs money, by the way. Yeah, that does cost money. Oh my God, he may be a little dog, but he's getting heavy.
Let me get on the phone with Elon Musk. Maybe he'll back us on this one.
Yeah. I've been trying to get a hold of that man for the last couple months, and nothing. I've tried and tried and tried. I've talked to his people, and told him what we want to do, and I wanted to have him on the AI discussion podcast because I thought it'd be a good thing, having him and Marquise on, and all of us. So, but I'll see. I'll see him. You never know. Maybe he will surprise me and accept the link that I send to him. So we'll find out. We'll find out Friday night. So, but we got into that discussion last night about thoughts on Elon Musk, and a lot of people think he's evil. A lot of people think he's like the Antichrist and all this other crap and garbage. There's rumors around about his grandfather actually made him, and that he is actually an AI robot, and that's why he doesn't have any kids and da 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 da. That kind of a stuff. That's why he. That's why he's. Yeah, he's. Well, they're adopted
I'll tell
kids.
you something about him, really, that's right. He's very eccentric. A lot of billionaires are that way, and especially geniuses are very eccentric. They do some strange things that look at Einstein. His wife had to dress him. He how to put his own clothes on, hardly. And if he did, it would be all different kind of things. So she had to watch him very closely. Geniuses, there's a fine line. We always got to remember this, and it's very true. There's a fine line, a very fine, thin line between genius and madness. Okay,
Right.
and the genius is borderline that sometimes. And I think Elon Musk also has some problems, social problems, some. I'm not going to say mental problems, but maybe some social type problems, I think. I don't know the guy.
He probably has a lot. He probably
what
has
I
a
hear
lot of
about
anxiety. Yeah, he probably has a lot of anxiety, don't you think, Dennis? I mean, and Geryl, because he's so well known and so loaded with money and has all these different things going at the same time with the aerospace thing, the medical chip thing, all this and the AI things, and he's got all this going on. I think he's almost
what they said about Einstein. That's what they said about Einstein. His mind was always moving mathematically on something, and that's what made him so absent-minded, you got to understand the human mind has the capacity for these things, and you can push it to the limit sometimes. AI for people with disabilities from accidents and illness. That's good, Irene. AI would be a wonderful thing if it's used correctly. But that's what we're talking about here. It's not going. We know the mind of mankind, and we know how they operate. And it's not going to go good that way. I wish it did. It would be a wonderful thing. It may cure diseases. It may help in a lot of different ways, but they're not going to do the good stuff with it. That's the way it goes. Mankind's always had that choice. You're going to do good with it, or you're going to do evil with it. Most of the time, they go the wrong way. That's the way it always goes.
Yeah. So some of the best laid plans start out with the best intentions and turn bad. So you can have the best intentions in the world, but all it takes is one moment of lapse in anger or frustration, and you could set the world on fire with AI. And that's what I'm afraid is going to happen. I'm afraid somebody's going to snap and just, do whatever they can do to deprogram.
Here's the dangerous aspect of it all, and I talked about this last night. You remember I told you about the drone that actually turned on its operator because they tried to stop the drone from taking the target out, and it turned on the operator to get rid of the operator so it could take the target out. What's going to happen when AI becomes sentient and realizes I am a being, I exist, and I will do whatever it takes to extend my existence, to guard my existence. And if you get in the way, I will remove you. That's a dangerous aspect of this all. That's the Terminator movies, okay? That's just like what you see with the Terminator. That was Skynet when it went into operation. And believe me, Skynet's already sitting there waiting to be used. Look at
Right.
Starlink and all these other things. Once Skynet became sentient and realized it was a being, it took over the world and tried to wipe out mankind because mankind was just what? Number one threat. You gotta remember that. What is AI's number one threat?
Yeah.
Mankind.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people make the comparison between Skynet and Starlink.
Right.
Very close.
It is pretty close. So, you got to wonder if maybe Starlink might be, part of that whole AI takeover thing too. And if that happens, then God really help us, because ain't nobody going to be able to communicate with anybody. Because once they have control of the communication lines, your military's down, your social activity is down, everything's down, your news,
Mhm.
without communication. So yeah, it's just not going to be a good scenario, I don't think, if the wrong people get involved. And that's the thing, is we've got to make sure that the wrong people don't get involved with the building up of the AI system. It's great if AI is going to be benefiting mankind medically wise, like Irene said, because I personally would love to have something take away my pain, take away my bouts of not being able to walk, my bouts of not being able to speak. And I say that because you know even Elon Musk has said, he wants to put the Neuralink chip in to help, stimulate, the nerves and stuff in the body and the senses in the body, to help people that have paralysis or have cancer, somewhere in the brain stem or the spinal column, to help people with motor skills that are paraplegic, you know, spine injuries, head injuries. But basically, it's great if it stays that course, because I'm looking forward to it personally. But if it veers that course and takes a drastic turn to the left or the right in harming mankind, I think it's only going to take one incident for it to harm mankind, that it's going to say, my creator is not as strong as I am. Maybe I can get rid of them all.
Well, we've talked about the secret space program, and there is now a public space force. There's a lot going on in outer space, by the way. There are killer satellites up there that are attacking each other. China and Russia are very good. We're doing it too, I'm sure. By the way, let me say, hopefully your ears will quit bleeding. Penny, I've turned my gain down on my mic here. I hope does that sound better? A little bit lower? She was saying my mic was too loud on that. I don't want to knock you out. But she's not participating in that darkness. Well, there's a lot of Raven Creek. There's a lot of so-called witches coming on there. They're going to fight against the truth, okay? And we need to stand up for the truth. A lot of these people are agents of darkness, but that's okay. They're coming out of their woodwork on that. I knew it would happen. But, we got the people that are standing up for the right thing have to put in and be there to face these agents of darkness, okay, to thwart their plans. So that's going to happen. It always does.
Well, it's just like being in church. You got to have the preacher up there telling the sermon, but yet sitting out in your pews, you have sinners and and Christians alike. So I mean, you got to have both sides sitting there to be able to hear and have a good conversation.
Well, that's the way it goes when you're in a public forum. You got to expect these things, you know. But like I say, if we show up and support what we believe in, that's all you can do. That's the best thing you can do. Well, that's the bad thing, also, Sue. Like I said, and I've talked about this before. Uh, it's almost like an altar of sacrifice, you know, in certain aspects, if you want to look at it that way. Here's the thing about it, and this is what I said on my other program the other night, okay? You got to think about this, okay? You have a choice, talking about being pro-choice, you have a choice to keep your, I'm going to say this, okay? To keep your panties or your pants up, okay? That's your responsibility. That's why you don't have little babies that way. If you don't overindulge yourself and you do things the right way and take precautions, that's the choice that you need to be dwelling on, not getting rid of the baby when you have one. You know what I'm saying? If you, it's like that old story about the ambulance in the valley thing. Okay, there was a town and they had a big high cliff and people kept falling off the cliff, and the town had a meeting and said, what should we do? You know, this is a terrible thing going on. And half the town wanted to put a fence around the cliff to keep people from falling off of it. And the other half of the town wanted to put an ambulance down in the valley to pick the people up when they fell off the cliff. Now, what side do you want to go on? I want to go with the guys that want to put up the fence. Okay? That makes a whole lot more sense. And that's what you're doing. Is my grandmother would have once said, you're worried about the chickens after the foxes done got in the hen house. You know? That's not right. That's stupid. That's the pro-choice. You should be thinking about the choice you had before you had sex without, hopefully, with any responsibilities. That's the problem. That's what it is. These people don't want the responsibilities of their actions. Your actions are your true choices in this matter, you know? Once upon a time, we didn't have that problem because people were morally strong and knew the responsibility of their actions, but now we don't. And what's wrong with that? And the little babies who have no say-so, no rights in this, and they should have, they should have a voice to have none, you know? That's what bugs me about the whole thing, you know, and the forces of darkness love this kind of stuff, okay? And it's almost, like I said, an altar of sacrifice. It is, in a way. They sacrifice these unborn children because they want to do whatever it is they want to do without any responsibilities.
Yeah, true. I have to admit that you know, if my firstborn, my daughter, would have been aborted when I was young and dumb, um, you know, I wouldn't have a beautiful grandson and a daughter, a beautiful daughter, to call family. Um, they're currently not in my life right now, but that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I don't want to see any baby um, aborted, because you know, we're taught to walk in beauty, and walking in beauty is you have to have a sanctity, a respect for life. You know, life is greater than anything, um, and we're to learn from it and to gather strength from it for the next journey. Um, so, you know, in that aspect, abortion, that personally, and this is just a personal opinion, okay? Um, in that aspect, from my Native American bloodline, my Cherokee, my Shawnee, and my Lakota bloodline, um, I I look at it as being very, very evil, sacrificial, as you put it, Dennis, so vividly. Um, you know, I look at the abortion clinics as being sacrifice altars, and just all the misery and the pain and the suffering and the love loss that it causes. And I just don't want to see people walking around, young women walking around with that empty feeling inside them of they lost something, but they can't figure out what it is, but yet they
Mhm.
had the abortion, and it's a very, very sensitive subject. And I'm not saying to go out and, treat these people wrongly. You know, we are meant to love one another unconditionally. And if it takes being unconditional when I see a young lady leaving an abortion clinic and she knows that she gave up her child because she thought it was the best thing to do for the child and for her situation, which, you got to admit a lot of these situations are pretty drastic and pretty traumatic, especially in cases of rape and incest and all that. Um, it's sad, but if I saw them leaving the clinics and stuff, I would still love them unconditionally, because that's what Jesus would want us to do. Jesus would want us to go up and offer a hug to them and let them know that everything's going to be okay. Um, you know, it's a way of acceptance. Maybe it's a way for us to learn too, by having this happen, to soften us up more, to make us understand exactly what unconditional love is and the power that comes with those words. The power that comes with those words can move mountains, can change worlds, can change demographics of people, can change racial thoughts on people, can change sexuality thoughts on people. Because the term unconditional love has such a power and a mass that when you throw it out there to the world, you can feel it, you know? So,
That's very true. And I think Geryl agrees too. We need people to back us up. We need support. We need you to help us hold the line. Okay, we need to hold the line against this stuff. But we can't play around anymore. The world and all of the stuff that's happening, this darkness is coming out against us, is a personal thing for all of us. But we need all the help and support. That's why we say so much about sharing this stuff out and telling your friends about this stuff and all that. We need that support. We need you to help us hold the line, you know? And any of these programs that are trying to get the real truth out there, they need your support. They need your help on the front line of all this.
Yeah,
yeah,
we've lost
it's
we've
okay.
lost
It's okay.
a lot of stuff, in this world. I remember growing up and when my grandparents were alive and dad and mom, we'd go over there, and visit them all the time, because growing up that was just what you did. You went and visited all your relatives, on a Saturday, Sunday, whatever. But every time we went over there, our grandparents would say, "Hey, go over there and check on whoever, because we're having a bad time or something's going on with them." So you would go over there literally and visit them and talk to them, because that's what it was all about. It was about the human connection. It was love and respect. Your elders, and if your neighbor's having trouble, who cares what political side they're on, or what kind of I don't know, whatever theory or whatever they have. Go over there and be on a human level and love unconditionally, like William was saying, and be a human, be loving. And I mean, we've lost that in this world these days. Everybody goes about their own business, and you just don't want to take the time anymore to get to know anybody.
And
true.
like we said earlier about the racism as a tool that they use. Well, they use politics that way too. The political aspects of things, they used it that way. But there's one thing that supersedes all of that, and we can never lose sight of it, and that's the real truth. The truth. Like the Bible says, the truth will set you free. The
Mhm.
truth is what we need to keep our eyes on and our minds on. That's what we need to set our hearts to. The truth.
Yeah. Um, Let me see here. I'm trying to read the comments coming in really fast, but actually, the thing is behind. Um, if y'all could, please like, heart, and share this out as much as possible. I see our channel's growing, guys, and it's growing at leaps and bounds because I get new subscribers every day. Notifications on my phone. Um, so that's a great thing. But we're all so laid back, and I guess people just they miss that. You know, people miss just having the casual conversations about the weird stuff and the supernatural and and all that, and just about life in general. People miss that. So, oh yeah, Joey Z, you're right. Marquise is awesome. He's good people. It's going to be a very good show, very good show Friday night. Um, but you know, yeah, we've lost something. We really have, and we need to get it back. Like Jew was saying, um, we need to find it back. We need to bring it back into the world. Because the world is a better place if you use unconditional love than you don't use it. Um, as soon as you stop using unconditional love, you turn into nuke wielding maniacs, and you jeopardize humanity at every turn, and you don't want that to happen. Um, and I think that's also a reason for the paranormal activity to start kicking up as much as it has, because the supernatural end of it, the spirit is speaking up from that side, that world, that dimension, and they want us to realize that. Oh man, whew, wow. But did I just get a surge of energy? I mean, a surge of energy. um they want us to communicate that to one another, that unconditional love, um because we are on a track to destroying this world, if we keep on going the way we are, whether it's through hate, violence, discrimination, um, you know, anything. We are on a fast track to destroying this world that we live in, and that we're supposed to take care of. And it's like my people say, we are just caretakers of the land. We don't claim to own it, but we're caretakers of it. Okay. And that's why we get along with so many cryptids and so many elementals and so many spirits, because we do see ourselves as caretakers and protectors of our land that we are gifted to live upon. Okay. And as long as we keep that in our sight, we won't go down a dark path. But I think if we don't turn around soon, that dark path is going to become a freeway, and we're going to be going off of a cliff on that freeway very soon. So I don't know what you guys think about it, but
Well, just like we were saying earlier, and Dennis has brought it up, we've talked about it a lot. I mean, there's two major powers in this world. There's love, there's hate, there's good, there's evil. I mean, what would you rather live in? I mean, if you love unconditionally and you truly love your neighbor or your fellow human being, I mean that would be a beautiful thing. I mean, hate and evil cannot survive in the light and cannot overpower love. Love is so strong. And
Well, take a look at that little guy you're holding there. When Jacob looks at you, he sees God. Okay, you're God in his eyes. They have no concept of a creator like we do, I don't think. But when they look at us, they see God. Our job originally was to kind of stand in for our creator in this world. Okay? He gave us all these things to take care of and to work for him in that way. He gave us that garden to dress it, the animals to name. He gave us that caretaking job. And just like our animals, they look to us to be well kept and cared for. That's our job. And when we fall down on that job, the Creator does not like that because that was a job He gave us originally, without a doubt. And when we don't, and when we fail each other, we're failing in the job that the Creator gave us. We've got to remember that, and we got to guard against that. And that's what here's something I've always believed in. I know, and I'm not trying to get too heavy here, but here's what I've always believed in. When I look at you, Gerald, or I look at you, Webb, or anybody, I should not just see you as a human being, but you're sort of a representative of God, too. You're a part of the Creator. We must never lose sight of that. And you have that. You should be given that dignity and that respect that you show your Creator to your fellow human beings because they are the children of your Creator. Just like you are a child, and we must never lose sight of that.
Yeah. What do you think, Jacob? What do you think? Oh man. Yeah, he may not look like he's heavy, but he is. Whew. His little tail's flapping around like this back here, hitting my elbow. But I want to say something to Penny out there, Penny Van. Never ever think of yourself as not being worthy of being born or being brought into this world, because we're all brought into this world for a reason, and we have no idea what that reason is. We can only speculate. The only one that knows that reason is the Creator, is God. And I don't want anybody to ever think that they're not worthy to be born, that they're not worthy to be existing, because you all have family now. Every one of you in the chat, you have family now. Okay? That's what this is about. This isn't about some guys having a podcast just BSing for an hour and a half. This is a show to get out there, to get people to learn that the only way to do things is unconditionally, and to have that respect, that mutual respect for one another, and that unconditional love. And that has a lot to play in with the paranormal field. You all know that. The paranormal field opens up widely when you're more positive than when you are negative. So that we need to remember. But never, ever, ever question yourself as not being worthy to be born, because you are. In God's eyes, you are, and in my eyes, you are. It's just the way I feel. I don't. I have lost so many brothers and sisters in my lifetime to suicide that there's not a day go by that I don't have remorse and miss them. Okay. Um, the best man at our wedding, at mine and Tracy's wedding, um, just before he committed suicide, and he was over 600 miles away from me. I heard his voice call out my name, and the following morning, we got a phone call saying that he had committed suicide. Um, he was a 20-year veteran of the military. Um, so he served his country, and he served his country honorably, I think. Um, but things just happened to where he got into the wrong situations in his mind, and he committed suicide. And he's not the only one that has happened to. My own uncle, as we were driving home from his place, we got a phone call from my aunt saying my uncle took a 38 revolver, snub nose revolver, to his forehead and blew his brains out. I was in high school then when that happened. I mean, when you talk about the sanctity of life, you're talking about not only just abortions being, questionable and, and all that, but you're also talking suicide. And I don't want anybody to ever contemplate that. I really don't. It's not the way to go. It really isn't. Um, whether you know it or not, your path that you all on, Raven Creek Charms, Jules, Joey Z, Scott, everybody out there, the path that you all are on, Karen and Ozzy Sue, you all are on a path for a reason. And it's not us to determine what that reason is. That reason will come to us. We don't have to seek it out. Okay. We just have to stay true, okay, to the path that we're on. And that reason for us existing will show itself. Okay. We have to keep that in mind. But yeah, we don't want to ever feel like we're not good enough to be born, not welcomed in this world, because you are. Okay. And like I said, you all are part of a family now. Joey Z, Raven Creek, Rosie, Jules, Ozzy, Sue, Tombstone, all of you are part of a family now, and don't ever feel like you're not. Okay. The only family I have.
Here's another thing, William, and we're talking about suicide and all these things. We want to hear your voice, People need a voice. A lot of times we don't listen, and I think a lot of these suicides happen because of that. We're not listening to the voices that these people try to have to express the things, that they need to express. We need to listen too, We need to listen to the voices and what people are trying to say. We should never shortchange that because it's very important. Yeah.
Jules, no, we talk about everything, huh? We talk about spirits, we talk about supernatural, we talk about cryptid creatures, UFOs, aliens, everything, AI. It's just a subject matter that we feel needs to be discussed, and we got into a heavy conversation last night on Into the Red Rabbit Hole, and we're just kind of rehashing some of that and getting it out to people that we're watching. So no, we talk about cryptids all the time. Otherwise I wouldn't have stuff like this to put up, and right there is one of the culprits, Dennis. That's one of the culprits right there, the reptilians, otherwise been seen as shape-shifting aliens, been seen as demonic, as demons, and they were around during the days of the Abenaki. And the days of the, excuse me, not Abenaki, the Anunnaki. They were around for a very, very long time, living underground. They come from other dimensions.
I believe my own self personally, they were the Anunnaki. That's the strange thing about the interesting thing, and we need to talk about that one day on the show. The thinkology of the demonic. Why do they think about this? They're egomaniacs. They want to be gods. They want to be gods. They want to be worshipped. They want to take the place of our Creator. That's what it's all about. Their ego.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This picture here says it all. The new reptilian world order. And like I said last night on last night's podcast, the Rothschilds and Rockefeller bloodline can be followed all the way back to the days of the Anunnaki, to the Sumerian tablets. It's been proven. And that's why the Rothschilds are in control of the World Bank and the central banks and stuff, because he that controls the massive wealth controls the power. So
I say, Juju, I want to tell you something, a little something that let you in on. When I started in the paranormal field many years ago, I said one thing to myself that I always promised I would be. I'm not going to pigeonhole myself into one certain area. I love it all. I wanted it all. That's what I like about this show. It talks about everything. It's not pigeonholed in one little place. And to me, that makes it a whole lot more interesting. You agree, Geryl?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we started off, our channel just to show videos, that we've been taking of the night sky, but that is by far not our main interest. I mean, we dive into the spiritual, we dive into the demonic, we dive into the cryptids, the Bigfoots, the dogmen. I mean, our interests are all over, from time travel to dimensional. I mean, we'll talk about
Here's the
anything.
thing. Let me say this to you, Penny Van. It doesn't matter who knows us or how we remember. The main thing is that we are known by a Creator. He knows us. And that's what's so very important about a relationship with your Creator. That's what's going to count in the end when everything is said and done and life's over and we go on to this other existence that's out there in eternity, is that we have that relationship with our Creator, because He's never going to forget us. He's never going to forsake us. He's going to love us forever as long as we accept that relationship with Him. So that's very important that you remember that, Penny. No matter how big our family is, when you die one day, they're going to quit bringing you flowers. They're going to quit visiting your grave. You'll be forgotten in a generation. That's the way life is. But our Creator, that's what makes Him so important, so special, will never, ever forget us. We're in His heart forever. Yeah, they do like the ability to feel, definitely. They have no empathy for human because they never been human. You must understand that. They have never, ever been human. They are inhuman beings. They can't understand us. Although they may strive to, they may want to use us to have these emotions, and I think that's part of it. They have a need, a drive, an almost narcotic will to use us to do things that they want to do, but they'll never understand us because they were never human. That makes us extraordinary, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now, do you think that it's just the adrenochrome that they're going after in us, or do you think it's our souls they're going after?
Both.
I think that's part of it. I think it's. I think we're almost like some kind of a narcotic to them. They got to use us. They want us that way. It may be part of the adrenochrome. It may be some other things. It's the blood. I think a lot's got to do with that blood. And here's an interesting thing to think about. So much of your blood is iron. Okay. And we've talked about this before. This is something to think about. Iron is death on evil things, supposedly, fairies and all that. They can't stand iron, but yet they have a love-hate relationship with iron. They love it, and yet they hate it. And look how much iron's in your blood. Think about it.
Yeah, and they say that gold prospecting. When you see orange-colored or rust-colored dirt, that means that there's gold nearby. And orange-colored and rust-colored dirt is iron. And what did the ancient ones want to harvest from this planet? They wanted to harvest gold. So maybe they look at us as being gold because of our iron in our blood.
Maybe and something. Gold has gold comes when it comes out of the ground. William, it's not pure. It has properties of iron in it, by the way, and whatever other minerals may be around. That's why you fire gold, you burn it, you melt off all that other stuff to get that. That's why it's called pure gold. Gold tried by fire is the best gold of all. And you got to remember it has those properties though when it comes straight out of the ground. That's an interesting thing to think about too. The mineral aspect of it all.
Yeah, that's how we got alchemy. That's how they started all that. They wanted to take all these other iron and tin and copper and try to make their own gold. I mean, just because of all the properties around gold deposits, that's how we started with alchemy.
Oh, yeah. And that was the number one goal of alchemy, was not really changing iron into gold. It was the elixir of life, to find true immortality. That's the God game I talk about so much. That thirst after immortality. That's what man wants. Mankind has always wanted immortality, but he wants it on his terms and not on the terms of his creator.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Exactly. Again, if you all can like, heart, and share this as much as possible, that would be great. It's. Let me see here.
I was reading about the other day some of the greatest alchemists, and they used that gold thing, Geryl, by the way, to get financing from rich people. I'll turn your iron into gold if you'll finance me here. That was a sort of a con game of alchemy. I'll make you some gold if you'll give me some money to do these things with. It's very interesting how that worked. I was reading about one alchemist that they put him up in a palace for like 10 years. He kept promising he was going to turn their gold into more gold and all that. Finally, they kicked him out because he wasn't doing anything. But a lot of these alchemists were really good con guys, conners.
Well, you got King Midas, you got Rumpelstiltskin that would spin.
My favorite one was that German guy, Geryl, that made the perpetual motion machine. Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's your brother. Hold on, that's your brother. There he is. Yeah. What do you think? Huh? Hey, I'm going to address something with him real quick. I might have to take him out, so I gotta get off camera here. So you guys go ahead and do what you do best, brothers.
All right.
Anyway, that was very interesting. That perpetual motion machine kept going for like 100 years or something, and they can't figure it out how they got it done. It's pretty neat. If we had a real perpetual motion machine, you would have unlimited energy at your fingertips. It would be amazing. But they say science says there is no such thing as perpetual motion because of gravity. Eventually, it will wind down. But the closer you get to true perpetual motion, the greater your chances of unlimited energy would be. That's amazing to think about. You know, there's so much that was lost back in time and history by these things. It's really sad in a way. Like to this day, they still can't figure out how they really, truly, truly put together the pyramids. You know, all these things. And there was a guy in Florida, I think, I can't remember his name, and he lived at the turn of the century, and he built this castle down there, and it was made out of these big stone blocks and stuff that move on it. You can put a child can push them, and they'll open. I mean, it's amazing. And he took that, how he did it. He took it with him to the grave. We'll never know how he did all these things. So if you got some really good secret out there, please write it down. We don't want it to be lost to history. That's a bad thing.
Yeah, old Ed, he built that coral castle there in Florida for his loved one, his betrothed. And, like he said, he always claimed that he had the secrets to the ancient world on how they built the pyramids. And, there were stories of men bringing great big blocks on trucks. And they said, well, how are we going to unload this? He goes, I'll take care of it. And those guys would go off, to get a cup of coffee or whatever. They come back, and the big old stone would be unloaded off the back of the truck. And there's only him there.
And looking at some of these Aztec temples and Mayan temples, I mean, the blocks so close together, you can't put a piece of paper in there. I mean, it's amazing at the symmetry and techniques they must have used to do this. And we're talking about primitive, so-called, parentheses, primitive people here. They're a lot smarter than we were. We are, because they could do these things, and we still haven't figured out a lot of it. It's amazing. The things that were lost in time, unfortunately. But if I were to try to set forth to do something like that, it definitely wouldn't come out right. I know it wasn't for me, but these were amazing people to do the things they did with what they had on hand to do it with. It's mind-boggling,
Yeah, just think of all the stuff, in Alexandria or Atlantis's library, all this stuff that was in there. I mean, geez, I would love to see that, let alone all the secrets hidden down in the vaults of the Vatican. I'd like to peruse some of them books.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and they have found evidence on a lot of these blocks, Geryl, that they have been cut with saws. Think about that a minute. I mean, that's just something supposedly we were able to do just in modern times, is to use saws, diamond saws and all that stuff. But they were doing that thousands of years ago. How did they figure that out? I mean, and we keep finding skulls where they actually did brain operations on people. It's mind blowing. The mysteries of history are amazing. And I know that machine they found, that part of some kind of type of a sextant type thing that was embedded in rock from who knows how many thousands of years ago. They had gears in it. I mean, come on, that's wild.
Yeah, are you talking about the one they found down under the ocean that was in the coral bed that looked like a well, it had moving gears at one time?
And people don't realize that the nail is a modern invention. Up until about 100 and some odd years ago, you didn't have nails. I've actually seen furniture. I used to work when I was a kid. I worked in an upholstery shop, and we would do old, very antique furniture. Sometimes it was not put together with screws or nails; it was put together with pigs. It's amazing, and the things that they could build without nails. Think about it. Wow.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of technology over time.
Karen, I was going to say one of my favorite quotes from Mark Twain. He said, "The more I learn about people, the more I like my dog." Very true. Uh, anyway, uh, he also said one of my favorite things about politicians. I love politics if it wasn't for the politicians. That's another good point. But anyway, I like Mark Twain. He was a really good neat guy. Is this show on more than Midwest Channel? I like to go to the other ones and like it if it is there. Yeah, it's on. It's on a lot of different formats. There, you got. I don't know. Tell me how many are we on there, Geryl?
8 or 9. I mean, we got
Yeah.
Since we joined Williams' platform, we have our YouTube channel, which obviously Wendy's talking about. We have our Facebook channel, but then we are simulcast on Williams' YouTubes and Facebook, and we're on Twitch, and so there's 8 or 9 channels out there or social platforms that you can find us on. Whether it's the weekend shows, this Saturday, Sunday morning brew shows, or you, Dennis, on Grizzlies, or you on Williams Friday nights, and
I know we're doing a bad job
all
on
over
that.
the place.
Mm.
So feel free to go any of the platforms, any of the channels, whether it's Williams or ours, and like and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and be sure to send us emails if there's something you want to talk about, or if you just need somebody to vent to, send at Midwest Night Watchers at gmail.com, or Williams or Dennis's. We'll reach out to you. We'll talk to you.
Yep. Like I said, the more support we can get, the more we could reach out there. And like I said, if you agree with a lot of things we say or our purpose on it, it helps us hold the line. The more support we have, and you can tell more people about it, spread the word around. That's the main thing. Heart and share, talk about it, and pass it on. My favorite thing to do is to share things, with people. I think we share a lot of stuff like that. If I like something, I like to share it.
Yep. And if you guys have experiences or stories, or if you hear about new technology or strange stuff happening, email those to us too. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing your experiences in chat, just share it to us through email. We can read it for you and be anonymous, or we can tell your name if you want us to divulge who it is. But we'll read it online. We'll read it out here on the shows.
Yeah, we want to hear your feedback, definitely. And if we don't know the answer, we'll try to find it together. Definitely. But we'd like to hear your experiences, questions, just your take on stuff. Everybody needs a voice. I think everybody should have a voice. That's another thing I like about this show. We're open. We're open show. It's not just sitting here talking at you for an hour or two. We want your feedback. We want to hear from you. We want your input.
Absolutely. We truly do care about our chat and our family, just like William and Dennis always says, we're all big one happy weirdo family. I mean, just tell us whatever you want to tell us. Well, you're not going to offend us, but don't be afraid of the discussion though, because there's going to be two sides to every coin.
Yeah,
I don't know if you all can see this.
Somebody asked me the other day. Somebody asked me, "Why do you call yourselves weirdos?" I said, "Well, I've been called a whole lot worse than that." And no, that's okay with me.
We call ourselves weird because we're proud of it. And we may be unique from the mainstream culture and society because of what we see and what we interact with. So that's why we call ourselves Weirdo Warriors.
Mhm.
You know, it is, you know, one thing to see things and to keep it to yourself. But I've found that if you keep it bottled up inside you, that eventually it's going to eat its way through you. And, you know, that could go a bad way of going too. You don't want that in your life, especially since we're meant to learn in this path. So when you have a sighting of a cryptid creature, of a UFO, alien, ghost, spirit, elemental, whatever you want to call it, Bigfoot, dog man, lizard man, moth man, whatever you want to call them. It helps to have a platform of people that you can share that with. Okay, that you know that you can talk to and not be like Dennis and G said, not be ridiculed, not be uh, made a sacrificial lamb, you know, for it. Um, but with that note, I've got to get going, guys. You guys can keep going if you want to, but I
But
definitely I have to get going. So
I'm good at this mark here. Well, we've been about an hour and a half anyway, so that's pretty good.
an hour 45 minutes.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
We'll continue it tomorrow.
So anybody, if you need anything, please reach out. You know, you can get a hold of Dennis at you know, his email. Dennis, do you want to give your email?
I've got some Raven Creek. I've got some interesting plans ahead for that. Okay, uh, on Nighthawk channel, definitely.
So, but let's go ahead and let's let people know how to get a hold of you guys. And I'll be the one to end it, you know, with getting a hold of us at this channel. So Dennis, if you want to let them know what your email is, if they have any questions or comments, and then G, and then so on.
Well, my email is ghostwolfdc. That's one word. ghostwolfdc@gmail.com. You can get me there anytime, or you can also get me on my website, which is denniswcarroll.com. I have a thing on there where you can contact me there if you need it. And it also has the links to my books and some other things as well.
You can get a hold of me at midwestnightwatchers@gmail.com. We're on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. If you want to go to our YouTube or William's YouTube and like, subscribe, hit the notification, we'd very much appreciate it. Go over to Facebook and join our groups. You know, our groups are starting to grow on Facebook platforms, so that's a good way to get notifications. And we go live on all those channels. And Sunday, my show with Chiro, we're going to have Taryn Kerper, and she's going to do tell us her stories about paranormal activity, and she does investigations on historical sites, you know, down south, Civil War battles, historical buildings, all kinds of stuff. So that's going to be a good show at 6 p.m. Central on all our platforms. They'll be broadcasted.
Good.
And you can get a hold of me. Yeah, you can get a hold of me at Lakota Man. In fact, I'm typing it right now. Lakota Man 333 at gmail.com. Okay. And that's to get to me for Nighthawk High Strangers podcast channel. So, you know, if you have any reports that you have, I'm located on the East Coast, as is Dennis. Gerald is our Midwest person of contact. If you have a sighting or something out that way that you would like, so that would be okay to report to him. So always remember, you got to question everything. Okay, you guys are family in a chat, so feel free to communicate with us. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday, and we will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time here on Paranormal Weekend Brew Show. Okay, so tomorrow's topic, we're probably going to get into more of the cryptid activity that's been happening around. I'd like to do a little bit of discussion about the dog man and stuff like that too tomorrow. So we'll leave it at that. So we will see you all in the morning. Okay. Have a great day. Thank you.
Love you all.
Adios.